Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, racers and race fans. Thank you for joining us for the 150 Motorsports. We're racing at Donington Park National, and I'm joined by none other than James himself. James, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you, Ben? This should be a fun one, shouldn't it? We got, lots going on this one. We got little 150 Motorsports round 2. This technically is from Donington Park. Now we're in little Ford Fiesta STs or STRSs. I'm excited about this. We've got 150 brake horsepower, 130 mile an hour top speed, lots of squealing and squeaking, and I'm interested to see how this one goes.
Very interesting indeed. Although this is round 2 for this championship, this is round 1 for us here at the JP Broadcasting studio. And you're talking about these little tiny motors, 2-liter dual overhead cam Durotech motors, 16 valve inline 4s, revving at 7,000 RPMs. We'll be producing around 100 Newton meters of torque. They take regular old fuel. They have about a 12-gallon fuel tank with disc brakes, and they do have some electronic stability controls. They will be having ABS, electronic stability programs, and traction control as a standard option. So these drivers will have to navigate not only these tricky, powerful machines, but as well as navigating the electronic aids that are coming with these cars that were produced from around 2005 to 2008. The Ford Fiesta MK6 ST is a sporty performance version of the Gen 6 Ford Fiesta. It was designed to offer balance and performance of everyday usability. And boy, oh boy, am I excited to see these guys go around the Donington National Park circuit. And we are in for an absolute treat tonight, James.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be interesting. But we'll bring live pictures up on your screen very, very shortly, guys, so you can see what we're talking about in the machines. We are just about to go into quali. We have got a 15-minute qualifying session, and then we will be able to go into the 30-minute race. Okay, so we'll have a 30-minute race ready for you to rip out in these little ST150s. Now, let's not forget, guys, this evening's event and championship is sponsored by 150motorsport.com, the ultimate destination for old Ford performance STRS needs. From performance parts to custom upgrades, we're your one-stop shop for everything Ford STRS related. Our passion for precision and power drives us to offer only the best for your ride, helping you achieve peak performance every time you hit the road. Guys, you can go check them out at 150motorsport.com as well. Donington Park, as we say, we're on a national circuit, 1.957 miles of racing, 3.149 kilometers, and well, it's going to be interesting indeed. We're on a layout from 2010 to its current format as it is here as well, Saagar, and I think this could be an exciting one. We've done some couple of onboards with a couple of these cars, and they seem quite nippy.
And let's see how nippy these guys really are. The qualifying session is just getting underway, and let's get to seeing all of the action. The drivers are getting their tires warmed up and getting ready to complete their outlap, their sighting lap around Donington National Park. And National Park is home of some of the best GT racing, as well as other championships, including British Touring Car Championship, British GT Championship, Porsche Carrera Cup GB, Mini Challenge, Formula 4, Radical SR1, SR3, Club Racing, Track Days, Formula 3, other open wheelers, Historic Racing, TCR, the UK Series, and of course, my favorite, the British Superbike Championship. So if these cars are going to navigate this tight and twisty track that some other champions have been on, this is going to be exciting, and they're already racing going into their qualifying session. We can see a couple drivers going side by side in towards turn 1, and I imagine that they won't stop now. They're going to keep on battling it out through Redgate and then through Hollywood, the old hairpin. And a couple drivers have gone off at Redgate, unfortunately missing their break points, but boy, is this a scenic track to be at. And you can see how their cars are just getting thrust into these corners, absolutely crazy at McLean's, and the cars are definitely leaning, and we'll have to see the cars get airborne a little bit coming through Roberts, as well as they abuse the sausage curbs and turn these four-wheel cars into bicycles.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you've got little cars like this, they are practically like little roller skates on wheels. That's the way you kind of deal with them and kind of drive them. You know, we've watched them absolutely rag the hell out of these cars in practice, and they're probably going to do the same in qualifying. We've seen missed braking points, we've seen over revving of the engine, we've seen literally late gear changes, smoke coming out of every part of the car possible. It's all happened so far, and we're not even in the race yet. That's the thing. Don't forget, guys, if you are here for the first time, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and let us know who your favourite driver is or who you're rooting for in YouTube chat. That would be absolutely amazing. I feel we're going to watch some very interesting racing, Saagar, and I think that's the thing. We're gonna see door banging, we're going to see offs. I wouldn't even be surprised if down at the old hairpin we'll see a car on its roof.
Hopefully not seeing a car on its roof, but I can imagine that because of these cars having such punchy torque, and you can see the smoke coming out from the rear of all of these vehicles right now as they come through McLean's. It is absolutely crazy how hard they're going to be pushing them, but because of the nature of these vehicles being somewhat slower and more controllable, absolutely we're going to see side-by-side action through Redgate, and that actually going to take us all the way down to the old hairpin, in through McLean's as well. Coppice, guaranteed we're going to be seeing some side-by-side action, and door banging is just going to be a nature of the beast here at Donington National Park. But rubbing is going to be racing, and hopefully we don't see any cars going too far off into the grass, because Donington National sure could be punishing when you hit that slippery stuff, that grass out there, and you can find yourself touching a wall, a barrier, and that will be the end of your race. So being a little bit more cautious than not will be the key to the race here. And I'm curious to see, I've seen a couple of drivers head down into the pit lane. Will we have to see a pit stop here for this 30-minute race? Granted, these cars only have a 12-gallon fuel tank.
Well, I would be very surprised. I would be shocked if they actually needed a pit stop for 30 minutes. Evening, James, and evening, Saagar. Evening, Phil. How are you? Thanks so much. You've come in and watched some little Ford STs from Donington, Phil. I know that's your local circuit there, buddy. So you'll enjoy this one. These little nippy Fords hurtling around here as well. Back to the fuel issue. I don't think there's going to be a fuel stop. I would be utmostly surprised if they put a fuel stop on a 30-minute race. Now, am I going to say that it's possible? They may. They might turn around and say, well, you only start with 7 gallons or whatever before they get going, but I can't see it. I don't think they'd want to take away the racing from them having to separate by doing pit stops. I think it's just going to be full bore, flat out, door to door, banging, rubbing, racing, if gap car, the whole thing. I think that's what we're looking forward to.
That's a pretty good shout for sure. I highly expect that these cars are very economic on their fuel usage. So yes, those 12 liters or those 12 gallons should take us to the end, hopefully. And I get a chuckle every time I see the drivers come through Roberts at the very end of the race and see them turn into bicycles, getting up on 2 wheels. And the drivers know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to cut as much of that chicane as possible. And Jake Hewlett seemingly doing the best of them with a 119.5. Esperange with a 120. Wow, 120s. Pretty much a second separating P1 through P3 right now, and then further back it's pretty much all nip and tuck with Ted Cooper Motors getting into P2 with a 120. So still now 1 through 4 separated by just nearly a second, and then look at 1 through 5, excuse me, now separated by nearly a second as the times keep trickling down. Then 6th place all the way down to P14 is another second gap. That is absolutely insane. You talked about the nip and tuck racing. You talked about close door-to-door banging going on. If the qualifying session is any tell of what we're going to be able to see tonight, I cannot wait for this 8-minute qualifying session to be concluded and get right into the race session.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we're going to have to look out for. I think from these drivers' perspectives, right, they want to get to the end of the race. That's got to be the first important imperative of this race. But the other thing you've got to try and do as well is get as far up as you can in qualifying. Now, we've seen a couple of people with issues in practice, right? As I said, we've seen pretty much as we can possibly watch. what they don't want to do is don't come out the pit lane in front of the faster car who's on a fast lap, because I'm sure he's probably not going to be best impressed with that situation. So I think from that point of view, they've got to be aware of their surroundings. They've got to be aware of the situation. As you say, Donington isn't very big, and if they end up in the gravel trap at turn 1 or anywhere else pretty much that is gravel or grass, they're going to be in trouble. So they've got to make sure they've got to get to the end. And I think there's just going to be a couple of people that might be a little bit overzealous going down into Redgate for the opening corner, and cold tyres on a car in general is probably awful. Cold tyres on a little Ford Fiesta that's going to want to go left while you're trying to turn right is just going to cause chaos.
Absolutely. Cold tires on a street car will be absolutely detrimental to the drivers that are trying to get late braking moves done in towards Redgate. They might find themselves into the kitty litter here at the end of Redgate, and in through Roberts. We're watching Peters Ennis go through, and in the Martini car, it looks like he's driving a number 17, badged the number 4 though, unfortunately, finds his way up into the top 14. He's nestled in that 14th position spot with a 122 flat. Attack Fiesta finds their way into 11th place, just outside of the top 10 with a 121.3. And again, I want to keep on highlighting how close these times are. There are more 121s than I can count on my fingers and toes right now. The 20s keep on trickling down, but Jake Hewlett driving that 119.5. I am curious though, what do you feel about consistency being the key? If you were to name 3 keys to the race, what would they be for you, James?
Keep it on track, pick your overtakes, don't do anything stupid. That's it. There's nothing else that's needed to say. You can't sit there. The problem is when you have slow cars, and in comparison to GT3s and GT4s and probably other cars as well, Super Formula Lights, open wheelers, these cars are slow. When you have slow cars, you have great pack racing. It's almost like watching a NASCAR race on a road circuit. They're very close together. They're very be able to go door banging side by side. What they can't do is be too aggressive with it, because if they're aggressive with it, they're going to stick their nose in, somebody's going to turn in, and we're going to see a lot of pirouettes and ballerinas practicing for Swan Lake, because that's how it's going to work. They've got to pick their moments of overtake. I'm not saying that they can't use all the circuit, right? If you come in side by side out of Redgate, you can run all the way down into Old Hairpin. But when you get to Old Hairpin, stick it in behind each other, because I've seen side by side in multiple different cars and it's not worked once. And I don't expect this to be any different. Somebody has always ended up on the grass on the outside.
Great keys of the race, and hopefully the drivers will heed that warning for certain, because we want them to be able to make it to the end of this championship. We want as many points contenders that could possibly be here towards the end as humanly possible. We want to see basically all 21 of these drivers make it to the finish of this race. And of course, like you said, if you do pirouette off into the gravel, into the grass, that will most likely be the end of your race, because the cars are so slow. It will be hard to catch back up to the packs that are racing single file line. It'll be the cars that are continuing to remain side by side that are going to slow each other down, that'll produce that additionally close pack racing. But who right now can give it to Jake Hewlett in P1? It'll have to be very close for Cooper at the start of the race, starting from the outside line of the circuit, trying to throw it in to slow down Jake Hewlett as much as possible. And Ryan Turner right now with a 121.2, looking like they might be able to improve through Sector 1. Not so much through Sector 2. Will it be an improvement into the 120s for Turner when he gets to the line? No, I don't believe it is enough to improve there. Now here's Viken in the number 18 car, and that is a dashing looking racing striped Ford Fiesta. And it looks like McIntosh was able to produce a 120.6, 120.3. The times keep on trickling in. Again, now we've got 7 drivers into the 120s. And this is absolutely amazing. Gray with a 121.052 for their name. And they'll be the first of the front runners in that 121 pack. Consistency is going to be my key to the race. It doesn't matter how fast you can be overall pushing. And if you push too hard here at Compass, you will find the gravel pit, and that'll slow you down and ruin your race for certain. It's going to be about, can you drive within the limits of the track here at Donington Park? The track limits, again, Ryan Turner pushing too hard through Compass again. We're seeing the same error in people's thinking produce the same exact results. Huge slowdown penalties when you run off the track here at Donington Park. It is detrimental to your race to be able to do that. You got to drive between the mayo and the mustard, as my friend Mike Noss would say. You got to keep it between the red and white stripes everywhere you go. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin your race. So who can really produce these 120s, these 121s? Is that their consistent race pace, or is that they're just single flat out pushing it, hearts on their sleeve, lap consistency, lap pace? It'll be telling to see as Hayden Gray gets it all wrong again coming through Roberts and pushing it to the line right now. Is this even going to be a valid lap for Gray? I don't think so. No, they're going to have to try one more time. They're going to get at least one more crack at it, maybe two if they keep it consistent.
Yeah, sorry about that. My PC just decided to have a crash on me. So that's why I went quiet. Yeah, so I don't know where we're at. What are we talking about? Because we're about a minute out from the race, aren't we, before we all get going and get moving again. So I'm hoping that my PC holds out there. I'm not entirely sure what went on. Saagar, so I do apologise for that one if you found yourself talking to yourself, but we are back now, and hopefully we should be carrying on good together. That's not a good idea. You might really want to be careful. Oh, there we go. And that's what I mean. You go nose to tail, you go across to people, and you're going to be in trouble, and they can't afford to do that.
Crashing in a straight line is never a good excuse with someone else on circuit. It's quite inexcusable to have that kind of incident happen, but maybe they were trying to practice their NASCAR bump and running going in towards turn one. Is that a strategy, or is that a play we might see some of the drivers fall into here? Is a little bit of, you talked about it earlier, this close pack racing kind of being like NASCAR. I imagine we might see some NASCAR-esque moves, some bump drafting a little bit, some bumping and running, I think, maybe some late braking bumping before the entrance towards corners. Are we going to see some, or are we going to see some more GT3 style racing and more forgiving? I have a feeling this is going to be more like BTCC. It's going to be rough and rumble.
Yeah, you can't get these cars onto a racetrack and not expect it to be rough and ready. I think you are completely underestimating the people behind the wheel if you think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to have some bumping. Bump and run or punt to pass, whatever you want to call it. I'm hoping we stay away from that, because that can cause dramas, and I'd rather not watch, we're not watching an episode of EastEnders here, we are watching a motor race. I think I'd rather stay away from that. But yeah, bump drafting, definitely. That's going to be a consistent thing, going down into the old hairpin if they don't nail that, because there's going to be a lot of people on the outside that could end up going into the grass as well. I just hope it's clean. I think that's the thing. I don't mind hard racing. I don't mind bumping, a little bit of bumping here and there, a little bit of door banging. Two things that are zero IQ moments for me. Don't crash on a straight, because that's just really poor. And don't stick your nose up the inside hoping that somebody's going to give you room, because I can guarantee if you make a dive, they're not even going to see you coming. So stay away from that one if they can.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting moves throughout this race, and we can see a couple drivers practicing their handbrake turns, and that's Viken practicing their reverse pit entry to see how that plays out for them. And I imagine that these cars all do have emergency handbrakes, so that'll be interesting to see which drivers have got that equipped or want to use those at any given point in time, as Gary Cooper does a little weaving down the straight to conclude their qualifying. And right now, let's look at the top of the timing tower. It'll be Jake Hewitt, Cooper, Asparinge, Ted Cooper, Motorsports, McIntosh, London, Viken, Kerwicka, Gray, Beatty, Turner, Gurin, Attack Fiesta, Hey Sam, Peters N, MK6 Pinnock, Butsy, ST, Bailey, Toth Robin, and Kortemanik. Excuse me for any mispronunciations, I apologize profusely, but we've got some very unique names here on circuit, so I believe that'll give me some forgiveness, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We haven't got real names. So, apart from Jake Hewlett at the top and Mr. Cooper, McIntosh, Kowitka, B.E. Turner, Gurin, that's it. I think everybody else has got some nicknames set in place. But hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to have to start the race very, very shortly indeed before we get up and running in the green flag moment. And then we'll be going for a 30-minute race. It's going to be short, sharp, and very, very quick. So if you don't have your drinks, go get them now. If you don't have your popcorn, well, I suggest you also go and get that as well, because then you're going to sit back, watch some great little Ford Fiestas for half an hour. It'll be like watching the BTCC on a Sunday. And if you haven't seen any of that, well, get ready for next season, because it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, there are the cars. We're going to wait for the lights, and then we're going to be up and running. Saagar, predictions. How many cars off in turn one?
At least 3.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, here we go. We are going to be green, 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 and it's Hewlett off the line. Got a great start in with Cooper in second place. Spranje in before that. Ted Motorsport in fourth, and then we got McIntosh in fifth. London coming through in sixth place as well. They're almost going 3 wide, a little bit further back. It's going to be a little bit messy. How many cars are we going to see? There's 1, there's 2, and they just survived on the run down the hill now, down through Hollywood, down through Creighton Curves we go. Coming into the old hairpin, Jake Hewlett out in front, taking the whole shot. Saagar, absolutely horrendous. Great start from him. Cooper, Spranje, McIntosh, and Cooper MOT in behind him.
And Turner sending it up at the old hairpin, but ends up going a little bit too deep and wide. It's going to be 3 wide coming out of the old hairpin, and we see some cars getting caught up in some calamity out in the background of the old hairpin. And a little bit of bumping and running here, side by side, coming in towards. Whoa, my goodness, McLean's. Oh my goodness, a little bit of a wipeout there for Turner as they go deep and wide, and more bumping and running down the straightaway we go. Let's go take a look at the leaders right now. London gets inversed with Vixen up into P6, but like you said, Jake Hewlett leads the charge with a huge hole shot, 1.3 seconds of the gap, and that man might have run away with this lead of the championship. Here we go, coming into Roberts now, nose to tail for most of the drivers. It's awfully close. Let's see if anybody's going for a late break move. Not that I'm seeing just yet, James.
No, not this time here as well. Question in there as well. This is iRacing. It's not. It's AC. It's a modded series put on by 150motorsport.com. Go and check them out there as well. On to the second lap now, going down. Oh, he's gone sideways. Ryan Turner stuck his nose up the inside of BE. Literally, there is a car rubber banded its head off in the background. That is just going to be impossible if anybody is trying to follow him. But at the moment, Turner sat in there, tucked in behind MK6 Pinnock at this moment, with Ted Cooper MOT in fifth, and McIntosh in front of him here as well. On that run up the hill now as well. Under Starkey's going into Schwartz before we go into the right-hander of McLean's. All a little bit very close. Big puff of smoke coming out. That's not going to be the first bit of smoke we see here. Saagar, this is going to probably be the first of many here as well. But Hewlett out in front, absolutely flying.
Absolutely. The drivers out in front will have to keep an eye on the timing tower to see what kind of laps are being produced, but you can definitely see that the drivers that were able to produce those 119s or low 120s are out in front driving their hearts away. And you can see the drivers that are caught in this pack of 121s sure are battling it out for position overall, and Turner will not give up. Ryan Turner on the outside keeps on finding anybody and everybody that he can battle it out with, and Beatty gets bumped in the rump there and gets sent forward. But now we got side by side, almost 3 wide coming down the front straight right now. 121s for the most of the pack leaders right now, as they're just being a little bit more cautious than not. Vixen backs out of that, or Viking, excuse me, backs out of that battle with London, but they're still separated by just a 10th right now. Coming down Hollywood and in towards the old hairpin now. They're going to get set up for more side-by-side action, but James, this is one of those mistakes of the race that you called out earlier on. Well, they go side-by-side, a little bit of door banging, but they do file in single file line just like you suggested. But that car in the background sure has got to run. That'll be Attack Fiesta trying to shake and bake with the rest of these cars. I know they're all 3 liveries are the same, but now that Ford Fiesta's on the outside line trying to turn in at McLean's. Is he going to go for a nasty switchback? I think he will, but he's caught in the middle between this pack.
Yeah, going in 3 cars out now, nose to tail. up through the right-hander we go of Coppice onto that back straight, Starkey straight. We got the three blue and whites with their racing stripes down the middle. They are trying to catch up with the silver of Kuwika in front. He's got racing stripes as well. They're just about to take it. Are they almost going to think about 3 wide? Don't even go 2 wide. It doesn't work. And you saw that in the back. We have London and Vixen there as well. Vixen lost out after trying to take it 2 wide through Roberts. It was never going to work in a month of Sunday. Settle in. There is a great battle with that red car in the back there as well. That's Gray, Turner and Beatty. They're just taking it 3 wide down into Redgate almost as well. Big lunge on the inside from Hayden Gray with Hey Sam up there. No, there he goes off the side of the circuit on the run down Hollywood now, down into Old Hairpin. These guys having a right little ding-dong.
Absolutely, and Ryan Turner being the one who's causing all this calamity to continue, and it gets bumped in the rump and the side-by-side with Hey Sam going into the Old Hairpin, and Ryan Turner's the one that's absolutely producing most of this action right now. And that's a little bit of a correction, that'll be Aaron Beatty, who's leading this charge in that red Fiesta, driving their heart away. But I want to point out that Attack Fiesta started off in 10th position on that previous lap, ended up in 8th position, gaining 2 right away through all that side-by-side battling that did not let up. But let's check out Butsy real quick with Doth Robinson. Oh no! And that's getting it all wrong at the entrance of Coppice. I call it the British Oak Tree because it reminds me of VIR and the Oak Tree Corner. Don't you think, James?
Well, you know there's no oak tree there anymore, right?
I know, and that's why it's so similar now, because there's no oak tree in either location.
Yeah, I suppose I can see where you're going. Oh, big lunge. That did not go well. Cooper Motorsports, a big lunge there as well. McIntosh is going to lose a place to Kuwik, so he's going to lose a place to London, and now he's going to have to try and battle his way back. But that was a big old lunge from Ted Cooper Motorsports, who just literally bumped and run off the side of the circuit. The blue and whites all separated now as well. You can see London chasing down Kuwika in the silver and blue and there as well. Somebody off the side of the circuit that looked like Attack Fiesta was off the side of the circuit.
Attack Fiesta losing out more positions, tumbling down into 9th place now. Gets passed by Viking and McIntosh. And all of that, whoa, that is a big bicycle. That thing went up on 2 wheels with more airtime than a 747 on its way from California to Hawaii. That thing could have been served wine on that flight for certain. This thing is pushing to the absolute limit. Let's check out London. And is he going to do a bump and run into Roberts? It looks like he's nose to tail right now. He breaks a little bit earlier than he possibly could have, and then allows Kuwika to open up a little bit of a gap and make their own mistake, actually. And there goes Jake Hewlett with the fastest lap of the race, a 120.0, but we're on board looking at London and Kuwika right now. London in front of Kuwika in the gray Ford Fiesta with the blue racing stripes on it. Jack London, in the number 10 out in front.
And he's sitting in 5th at this moment in time. Kuwika sitting in 6th. McIntosh in behind with Attack Fiesta running side by side with Vixen there as well. Down the hill they go. They're going to try this 2 wide again. Please don't do that. Don't dive him up the inside. You'll end up putting him round on the run up the hill out the Old Hairpin up through Starkey. Somebody in the side there. That's Pinnock going off the side onto the grass. But great little battle in here. The gaps are starting to spread a little bit, I think, as we go on. We're literally 22 minutes away from the end. And it's this middle pack here that's got Ted Cooper, London, Kuwika, McIntosh, Attack Fiesta and Vixen all very close together.
Yeah, and this battle keeps on raging on. The Attack Fiesta trying to battle it out with Viking right now, and then there's more side-by-side action going on throughout this mid-pack. McIntosh and Kuwika keep on inverting their positions left, right, and center. They won't stop now. It looks like the leaders are all producing around the same lap times, 120.5s, 120.4, 120.3 for the leader there, but that 2.6 second gap is absolutely huge right now. Esperon's trying to chase down Cooper now.
Yeah, big runoff in the background from the red and white there. I think that was Beatty taking a big old dive out of Roberts, and unfortunately ended off the side. Kuwika's more going to be a cork in a bottle at the moment. He's got Viking sit right next to him on that run down through Hollywood, down through Craner Is he going to be able to hold him into the old hairpin? It's not going to work. If you're going to try, you are going to try. Settle in. Settle in. There you go. That is exactly why the speed difference into the old hairpin, and he was literally thumped off in the air. And I think that was Gray that produced that little bit of bump and run.
That was a huge send for Kuruika and tumbled down the order. That'll be race ending basically for him, down into 12th place. If he doesn't have a lot of damage, his tires sure will be at least destroyed by this point in the race, and having to recover from a big shunt like that will be absolutely mountainous to try to overcome. But here we have Viking and Attack Fiesta still battling it out over and over again, and actually Asparage with their fastest lap of the race so far, a 120 flat now, should be one of the fastest laps of the race if I'm not mistaken. And this is the battle for the podium that we're going to keep an eye on. Asparage and G Cooper racing each other coming down towards the old hairpin, and this is going to be pretty spicy, James.
Yeah, they're going to go through now. You can see sat there, Asparage in third place, Cooper in second. On the run up the hill, they're going to go up through into Starkey's, through Swans, coming into the right-hander. McLean's now, Asparage in the white and blue. Cooper in that yellow, black and white machine. That is a back marker of beat. Oh no, that is actually Hewlett up the road there. You can see at 3.1 just going in the top part of your picture. But this is the closest battle on the racetrack at the moment. I think Viking Grey and Attack Fiesta are a little bit more spread out. It may have been off that Attack Fiesta has actually been off, because he has actually lost that position to Grey in that background. As we can see, Kuruika and Turner's been off as well, because he's just plunged down the order at the same time.
Good call about Attack Fiesta bumping and running there at the British Oak Tree of Compass, and gets run off the road. A little bit of what you reap is what you're going to sow. We saw a little bit of bumping and running happening earlier, but this Fiesta is running quite slowly for some reason. Perhaps may have maxed out the revs and have some engine damage at this point in time, as Gray and Vikings invert their positions, as Gray is on a bit of a recovery drive, sending it way to the outside, trying to get a nice switchback engaged and get a good run around the outside of the first corner, and he'll get the move done and dusted with that momentum that he was able to absolutely send himself through coming out of the paddock lane. Basically a good nice run for themselves. Let's go back over to the leaders, half second of a gap right now. Things have settled down like you suggested, and there is a back marker out in front. That'll be the 20th place car of Quartermaniac, who's out in front.
Oh, dearie me, there is, I've just seen that in YouTube chat. Number 10, the translation of that name, of that word from Polish to English is well, I can understand why she's blushed. I can put it this way, Bringer there as well. I can understand why she's blushed at that, because yeah, very, very interesting indeed on that one. So if you haven't Googled it, go and Google Translate it from Polish to English, and you'll see what it comes out as. Beatty is chasing down Butsy there as well. I've got a funny feeling, Bringer, I probably shouldn't have done that, as they're going now through Roberts. Beatty there in 12th, Butsy in 11th, closing in 0.4 seconds back at the same time. Yeah, very interesting indeed.
Well, I'll go ahead and Google that after the broadcast, and then make sure that I have images turned off. It sounds like that'll be the healthiest thing to do for myself. But we've got a 3.8 second gap to the leader right now, just absolutely commanding his lead. Asparage 2/10 off the good of Cooper right now, as this battle keeps on slinking back and forth right now. I think all the drivers have finally settled into their groove and realized how much time they're losing from the cars in front by battling side by side continuously. Things have kind of settled themselves down. I think the drivers have all got it figured out, that if they can just stay in the slipstream and perhaps use a little bit of NASCAR bump drafting, they can get themselves a little bit further up the standings than they are currently. And it looks like Asparage is nestled into third place right now, happy with where they are as we approach the halfway point of the race, but they're not going to be thrilled at where they sit for long. They're going to look at making a move around Cooper. They have the significant pace as well, but we all all know catching is one thing, passing is a completely different ball game, especially when you're trying to catch a guy like Jake Hewlett out in P1.
Yeah, they've got a choice to make. Check DMs when you get 2 seconds. They've got a choice to make. Basically, they either race each other and Hewlett pulls away, or they settle in and try and catch him. Now, I've never seen, unless they're on the same team, I've never seen racing drivers work together for the life of me, right? They've always gone full bore battling. And it looks like Butsy and Beatty are also having a fight in 10th, 11th and 12th. Kiwick has just gone down into 11th place. Bringer, I can't actually say that name without laughing now. Aziz as well, but you can see at the moment as Sponge there, he's got the inside, he's cut the corner to make the overtake. I'm not quite sure that's going to be 100% legal, but he is managing to hold on to it on that run down that back straight, coming into the final right and left, down on Roberts. And at the moment, Cooper's going to settle in for third place, but I'm sure he might question whether or not he was off track for that.
Yeah, he might question whether he's on or off track, but the move is done and dusted. Riding on board with Cooper now, taking a good look at the rear wing. Let's stay on board for an entire lap if that's a healthy call. I want to see how the drivers are able to navigate behind this, and closing down the gap so close is absolutely instrumental for these drivers, but making sure that they don't touch will be the most important thing as they come through Redgate. Now Hollywood and Craner Curve looking towards the old hairpin. It's nip and tuck, like you said, James.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use him for a break in turn one there. Up for the old hairpin they go. You can get a better run out if you take the racing line, but it looks like both men have got the run out here. Coming into the left-hander of Schwantz before we go into the right-hander of McLean's. Through they go. He's got to carry more speed. That's going to be the challenge for Cooper at the moment. He's got to challenge more speed to carry more speed to get up behind him, especially coming out of Coppice. He needs to be nestled as close in as he possibly can to try and get the run down, and he's too far back. I know cars have draft, but these little skateboards don't have that much, as they're going to hurtle down now, down that back straight, coming into Roberts, the right left, down the gears we're going to go in a minute, on the brakes, bang, down we go. You see his hand coming off the steering wheel to change the little H pattern of shifter I think they've got here as well, but he messed up that Roberts chicane and he's dropped back a little bit.
And we'll see both drivers going off at the end of the chicane just a little bit, switching over to London, chasing down Cooper Motors in the 4th place position right now. We see the lap time going Jack London's way right now. And it's just Jay London, excuse me. I'm just throwing Jack out there because of Jack London Square, but going off a little bit towards Redgate. The drivers are pushing to the absolute limit, using all the track that they have bought and paid for, and another battle brewing between Butsy, who is producing 121.777s right now compared to a 122 out in front of MK6 Pinot.
Yeah, they're having a battle down here at the moment. There's 4 cars going at each other. Butsy there in the red, Pinnock in 10th place. Then we got Kawika in 11th, in 9th, and then Beatty tucked in right behind him as well. These 4 having a nice little bit of a ding-dong down into the old hairpin they go. Going to be looking out the other side. You can see Beatty, Hey Sam and Turner in the background. Not Beatty, sorry, Hey Sam, Turner and Attack Fiesta in the background as well as they start coming up the hill at the same time. So action all the way through, packs developing, and we've got literally 12 minutes remaining.
12 minutes remaining on the clock. We've breached the halfway point of this race so far, and a move from Turner over Hey Sam, or Hey Sam getting around Turner. We've got a 3-way scrap behind the 4-way scrap as we head in towards Coppice, and the cars almost went side by side all the way through, but Attack Fiesta was able to get the move done and dusted in towards the exit. And now we've got more side by side action of Beatty and Butsy as they're going through Roberts right now. And is it going to be the same thing that we're going to see on the inside towards Roberts again for the cars behind? No, it's not. Nose to tail right now, and we can see the battles are getting heated up as they see that the race is about to conclude soon.
Yeah, we've got 11 minutes on the clock now. You see him in the background. Hey Sam's just lost that place to Turner. Coming through Roberts, he got that all a little bit wrong. Down through Redgate for turn 1. Hey Sam in the white and black, Turner in there as well, tap Fiesta off the side of the circuit, takes a wide line out of Redgate, too wide, turn a little Fiesta into a little lawnmower, and now he's going to be losing places. He's lost that place to Turner. Is he going to lose it to Hey Sam as well? Coming into the old hairpin, Sam dives up the inside, Fiesta goes around the outside, off track again. He's definitely thinking with lawnmower racing. And
what a dangerous rejoin from Attack Fiesta comes across the grass and across the track at the exit of the old hairpin before we even got to Swan's Curve or the Starkey Bridges where he rejoined. And I believe the Attack Fiesta gives that position back to Turner out of empathy, saying, my bad, bro, continue on racing if you possibly can, but that race is over.
Dude, he can't deny it. You witnessed it. It's on YouTube forever. You know what I mean? If you had to go, hey mum, I'm on TV, look at me, I just went and crashed into somebody. No denying that's even happened there, unfortunately, for Attack Fiesta. So he's going to have to let him go through, battle him again. You know what I mean? He made a mistake, fair enough, zero IQ moment, shouldn't have rejoined at that pace, but he's changed the position back, so, you know, he's made up for it. And as I say that, he's just gone past Turner again, so clearly he'd had enough of being nice and allowing him to have the position. London, however, up with Ted Cooper Motorsports in 4th place. These guys still fighting it out at the same time. 9 minutes on the clock. Jake Hewlett, well, he's just kind of run away with it.
Has run away with it. 6.5 seconds is the gap right now, but Asparage also running away with it with a 2.1 second gap separating P2 and P3 right now. So it looks like the podium, granted any mistakes or big incidents has happened with some back markers, looks like it's done and dusted. And this is the battle for P4 and P5 right now, the last of them coming through, the first of the few that are battling still on track right now, and they're giving us a good one. What about Beatty and Butsy? They're going side by side towards the entrance of Roberts, and it looks like Beatty's going to tuck in single file line at the entrance of Roberts, doesn't want anything to do with that side by side, and going back over to the battle with P4, P5. Things are just keep on brewing here, and gotta say, this is the best job I ever had. I love watching racing, and these guys are putting on a phenomenal show for us. This is the most entertaining thing I've seen all week.
Yeah, it's been really good, to be fair. As I said, the slower the car, the better the racing. I don't know why it works out like that. I don't know how it works out, or even what the fortune of it is. Wow! McIntosh in the background come hurtling through the bottom of the picture there, had that car sideways up on 2 wheels. These guys doing a great job. Off through Copies we go, down through Starkey straight, then going to come into Roberts. That's a back marker in front of us who is going to have to be a little bit careful here. Choose your place to let them through. Coming into Roberts, London still can't get the job done. I'm not really sure where he's going to be able to. He's just got a great run through Roberts, so maybe down in Redgate if he can get close enough.
I think lap traffic will give it. Lap traffic will take it the way. I think that's the right way that it's going to happen. And here comes the lap traffic kind of getting in the way, splitting the 2 cars in between them. And there goes a side-by-side action that we were just describing. London going through on Cooper Motors and now has the guaranteed lead as we come down through Hollywood and in through Craner Corner and into the old hairpin. There won't be a move that can be made in a healthy fashion. And it looks like the number 10 leads over the number 7 right now.
Yeah, he did there. You saw that lap traffic just so indecisive about what he should do. Started off on the inside and then he literally hurled the car across the left-hand side of the circuit and put it straight on the racing line, and then trying to open up the inside. I know what he was trying to do. He just didn't do it soon enough. He was trying to give them the inside line, but he left it so late to swap over that London and Cooper just didn't really know what to do. Cooper just was like, okay, I'm now kind of in the middle of no man's land here, and he went to go on the inside. They ended up making contact, drifted out wide, and then London come through and said thanks very much for that one. Maybe he needs to buy that back marker a few beers in the process to say thank you. But however, Cooper there had it up on 2 wheels coming through Roberts, trying to get the run out as fast as possible, Saagar, and he just didn't quite manage it.
managing it at all, and the lap time is definitely not going Cooper's way after that incident with the back marker. 22 for them, 21 for London out in front right now. We'll have to see who's got the real pace now that London has got the clear air that he's been hoping for after the past couple laps. 6.5 minutes left on the clock, everybody. The race is still going on, but it is about to be concluded. It has gone by in the blink of an eye, for me at least. There's been action everywhere that I've looked on circuit, and it continues to provide more and more entertainment as the time goes on. It looks like Beatty was able to get around MK6 Pinnock in the background. Let's see what's going on here. Holy Toledo! As they come through the backside of Compass. No, excuse me, that's Redgate. And it looks like nose to tail right now for Beatty, MK6, and then Butsy in the rear.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. We obviously missed the build up to that. I'm probably guessing Pinnock ran a little bit wide, and that's allowed Beatty to go through on the inside. Butsy's now got a decision. Does he try and go for it? Does he settle in? He ain't going to settle in. He's got 5 minutes to go. Go for it, son. Put them all on the table as Pinnock again cuts that corner of McLean's, and you can't keep doing that. In through Compass, they do go now, but you see London and Cooper side by side going round into Redgate. Cooper's going to have that outside line. He's not quite brave enough. You just saw him lift up and brake a little bit, give London that outside line, but then by doing that, he fights to live another day. So he's got another lap under his belt to keep going and trying to get that fourth place away from London.
But Cooper is looking to the inside of the old hairpin now and licks the stamp and sends it. And London on the outside line. Hopefully we don't see another dangerous rejoin. We will see another dangerous rejoin at the bridge. Holy Toledos are out, and there is another back marker splitting hairs right now. And London and McIntosh are going side by side, and they cannot find the daylight to get around them. McIntosh behind the back marker, and London is just screaming in his helmet right now, saying, "Where are you supposed to be going right now? But not in front of us, please." Holy smokes.
McIntosh just decided that these guys were fighting. He's had enough, and he's going through. And he did that over London, and now he's fighting with Cooper in front of him. And I think McIntosh just literally took the bull by the horns. He grabbed the opportunity that he had in front. They were fighting. He's now going side by side down into Redgate. You can see him there, and it's going to be action all the way coming into Redgate now. Is he going to be brave enough to try and go around the outside? He doesn't. He looks at trying to get the switch back underneath. Cooper just cuts him off and says, "No, no, no, not this time, my sir," as these three continue to fight. Down through Hollywood we go into the old hairpin. If they take this side by side in the old hairpin, we're going to see him repeat in the last lap.
That was not a great rejoin, but they were able to close down the gap on Cooper Motorsports. And Cooper, with the badge of his name on the side of his car, he's looking pretty good right now in that fourth place position, but he is closed, or he is allowed fifth and sixth place to catch back up right now. And now this is all this battling, has allowed the seventh place car to catch back up. That's Hayden Gray now into the mix. Holy smokes, we're gonna have a four-way battle, and there it is, a send up the inside of Compass that doesn't end up working out. Hayden Gray now looking for an opportunity to get around London and is able to get side by side as we head down the straight towards Roberts. Will he hold on? Who will go nip and tuck single file line, or are they gonna try this side by side? It looks like London backs out of it. Gray sends it on the way through, gets a little discombobulated going over the sausages, and slows them both down for now.
He gets what exactly?
Discombobulated.
And the meaning of that is?
Gets a little squirrely whirly, let's say.
There you go. So all of our viewers at home who doesn't understand what disco-populated means, I didn't understand what it meant either until about 2 seconds ago. He got a little bit squirrely there as well as he runs down the hill. You can see, though, by these guys still fighting at this moment in time, you can see Cooper has kind of escaped up the road a little bit. He's decided to turn around and say, right, you guys carry on, as we can see another car off there as well. You guys carry on and I'm going to escape. So he's kind of left McIntosh, Gray and London to fight it out amongst themselves here for the final fifth, sixth and seventh place. They're doing a great little scrap. We've got Jake Hewlett out in front. He's going to, where is he at this moment in time? Just coming through Roberts now. going to be going over the line. There's going to be one more before the timer runs out. So he should be good on that one. As you can see, one of the cars off the side of the circuit up front.
And who was that going side by side? I'm not seeing a close delta. That must be a back marker who is getting off the circuit in front of these battling Packers. But yeah, Cooper Motor has absolutely found the firecracker. And speaking of, there's Gray going deep and wide at the exit of Roberts. Somehow these cars are able to go and touch that grass and find their way back onto the circuit without too much issue, which is the most surprising thing for me. And all these drivers using as much of the track they bought and paid for, so using as much of the pit lane as they possibly can. And there goes London trying to carry more momentum, but finds the grass is going to get slowed down a little bit, trying to carry that momentum down Hollywood and in towards the old hairpin. You won't be able to find the gap. It's opened up to around 0.6 of a second now.
Yeah, you can see Gray's in the background, McIntosh up the front. I believe that's the TAC Fiesta behind him, who is the lapped car. McIntosh now with London in there. Is he going to be able to get through? I believe he is. That's not Hayden Gray up there, is it? Gray's in behind that. So is that a back marker in the middle that we've got going on?
I believe so. That should be a back marker. It's not.
Is that Brixton in the middle?
Oh, and whoever that is, they're off at the S's. That is a TAC Fiesta. You're absolutely right. You call that one to perfection. They are side by side right now, coming down in towards Roberts as Fiesta got out of the way there. And now London trails behind Gray, and Gray still getting a little bit squirrely, going over the sausages, abusing track limits to say the least. Thank goodness we don't have real penalty, otherwise we'd see them flying.
Definitely would there. There'd be a lot of black and whites going on. You can see Turner and Butsy have just swapped places. The TAC Fiesta's in pit lane. A couple of people out. Peter Zen is out and the counterman is out as well. And you can see London trying to chase down these guys as well. He's relying on Gray, giving McIntosh a little bit of grief going into the old hairpin, or at least round this lap, because the leader is on his way round Coppice. He's going to have one more to go. Actually, the time is out, so this could possibly be the final lap of the race. And I think there for Jake Hewlett, who is just about to come into Roberts, and we can pick him up as he's going to be coming over the line. I believe this is the final lap, and I believe Hewlett is going to come through and take that victory. There he goes, celebrating, wiggles across the line. Great win for Jake Hewlett, wins the race at Donington. Esprange in second place in the background. Then we've got Cooper coming through with McIntosh there in fourth place. G Cooper and Cooper Motorsports are going to finish off in third and fourth. Then McIntosh in fifth. Great racing.
Absolutely phenomenal racing here tonight, brought to you by 150 Motorsports, a phenomenal racing club that has put on a heck of a show for us tonight. It's been non-stop action for the past 30 minutes. Qualifying was just as exciting as the race, with the times trickling in quick and fast, and the pack racing has been phenomenal. And I think the drivers will only get their experience filled race after race and produce better and better racing as the series goes on. How many races do we have left in this championship, James?
Well, currently we got the calendar the other day, so we're on round number 2, and then we'll be going into round 3 and 4. We got Cadwell Park up next on the 19th of December. Then we have our break through to the 2nd of January, where we go to Alton Park. Then off to Brands Hatch on the 9th of January, and then we round off at Snetterton 300 circuit on the 16th, and that will be the final race of this season. Will Butsy's in YouTube chat. I parked up, ran out of fuel on the last lap, so we went from 11th to 17th there as well. Alicia Watson, let's go Jake, as he takes that victory here this evening as well. As you can see, Mr. Turner doing some lovely donuts there as well. Is Mr. Hewlett doing donuts around the race circle, or is he just driving? There he goes, in pit lane. So, yeah, great win, great racing this, to be fair. These little cars are very, very interesting indeed. You might have to take one for a spin, I think.
Absolutely. Let me know when you decide to fire up your round wheel, and we'll go drive around the Nürburgring Nordschleife to give these things a real run for their money.
You couldn't have just picked somewhere easy. You know what I mean? You could have just said, Talladega or somewhere like that. No, we're going to go and hurtle around 154 corners of Nords. Lovely.
Yeah, this is going to be a hoot of a time, a hoot of a championship series. The points go out to Jake Hewlett out in P1, Asparage in P2, Cooper in third, Cooper Motorsports in fourth, McIntosh in fifth. There's your top five, folks. And the drivers are all finishing up their in-laps right now. This has been my pleasure. I'm Saagar Bakashi, joined to you by James. James, looking forward to the next week. Are you going to be here for it?
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. It finishes plenty of time because obviously we've got more broadcasts after that as well. So, yeah, definitely come out. I want to see how they're going to get on at Cadwell. I think that's going to be an interesting one. Very tight circuit. So they've gone for the all UK calendar, which is great because obviously for us UKers, we absolutely love these circuits. Cadwell's going to be interesting. The only one I want to know is what layout of Alton Park is it going to be? Is it going to be Foster's or is it going to be the full GP layout? Now, I've run Clio's round Foster's and it was nuts. Absolute bonkers. We have 40 of them hurtling down into Foster. It was just crazy. Like literally bits. If it was real life, there would have been so many parts of a Clio on eBay the following day. It was just crazy. There was bits going all over the place. I would have loved to have seen, maybe not Brands Hatch GP, but swap it out for Thruxton. I think that would have been amazing as well, the fastest race circuit in the UK. Swap out Brands GP, put in Thruxton. I'm a happy man. Like, literally, dude, I'm made up. It's like my birthday. But these cars have just brought great racing at Donington. So I think it's just going to be absolutely amazing season and can't wait for Cadwell Park on that one. So tune in, guys, for that, and we'll see what kind of racing we've got as well. Saagar, parting shot from you before we finish off.
Just as always, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you very much for the drivers for their wonderful participation in the show they're putting on. And as always, folks, please remember to stay safe out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing as we are back next week on the 19th from Cadwell Park. We will try and get in with Hey Sam and see if we can get a couple of driver interviews. I think that would be quite cool for these guys as well. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Saagar Bakashi here. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.